Before we begin, a little history. Up until the mid-1980s and well into the 1990s, most small public accounting firms used columnar paper and electronic calculators to prepare their year-end files. Pads or books of columnar paper in a variety of formats were used as journals of various kinds. In fact, it's still easy to find columnar paper in various formats today at Staples or on Amazon. Bills were mostly paid by mail, once or twice per month. A skilled bookkeeper or accounting technician could customize a columnar journal for almost any kind of business. Usually, that meant recording checks received in the mail and checks paid out, paying invoices by check, and depositing checks received in the mail, along with the daily cash receipts. Mostly, this was done in a special purpose journal called a synoptic or cash receipts and disbursements journal. Perhaps surprisingly, I was only ever exposed to this at work. The professional correspondence courses I had to take to earn my designation barely mentioned them. However, virtually all the small accounting offices on Vancouver Island on Canada's west coast used a synoptic journal for their small business clients. I personally worked for 4 of these small firms and later audited hundreds of files between 1985 and 1989 as an income tax auditor working for the tax department in Victoria, BC. The process was usually the same. The accounting clerk entered the checks and deposits taken from the bank statements received in the mail each month from the bank. This made sense in 1985, when fully 97% of payments were made by check according to Payments Canada.
In addition to paper-based systems used by bookkeepers in the 1980s and the first half of the 1990s, small professional accounting firms created paper-based working paper files to support the compilation of financial statements and the preparation of income tax returns. In this slide, we have tried to recreate the look of these manual working paper files. There was usually a large manila file folder, which was dominated by a working trial balance created on large, tabloid-sized columnar paper. Stuffed inside the folder were a series of smaller worksheets specifically created on columnar paper as needed to support the file.
Once the working paper file was reviewed and completed, it was typically sent to typing. The partner would get his girl to type the financials for the client meeting. Then, it was stored alphabetically in a file cabinet. Of course, today the accounting technician either uses a word processor to draft the financials or spent a great deal of time learning to use Caseware's dedicated financial statement formatting program to automatically generate them. And only dinosaurs still talk about getting their girl to do anything.
Information technology has changed blindingly fast in the last 30 years. These changes have led to significant changes in the way accountants work in the 21st century. Pretty much everything is now digital instead of paper-based. While specialty software developers are keen to pull as many people as possible into their orbit, sometimes referred to as their software ecosystem, sometimes simple general-purpose tools are better at allowing skilled technical folks to build custom solutions. 30 years ago, accountants built custom solutions using different formats of columnar paper for specific needs. Today, accountants and accounting technicians can use even more powerful and flexible commercial spreadsheet software to help serve the needs of the smallest businesses. Their clients are comprised of about 3.87 million Canadian businesses that only average about 3 staff members, and account for about 75% of private sector employment here. While these days we've attempted to automate just about everything, and artificial intelligence is threatening to eat the world, there is still something to be said for actual intelligence. At SBA Canada, we believe that accountants need to internalize the accounting algorithm before we inflict them on the real world. The small businesses that dominate Canada's private sector are very idiosyncratic. The old-fashioned paper-based spreadsheet systems we built for them in the 1980s were very flexible and surprisingly efficient for their day. We believe that massively complicated, automated, working paper tools like Caseware are too bloated and expensive for small accounting firms, and obscure that fundamental accounting algorithm from accounting students. We set about developing Cloudware to leverage the sophisticated data manipulation capabilities of contemporary spreadsheet software, and couple these with the almost effortless collaboration capabilities of dedicated cloud-based storage systems. Students will learn how to build their own cloudware system that is at once less expensive and more flexible than caseware. What's more, students will have learned how the system is put together and be able to use sophisticated spreadsheet functions like pivot tables, lookup tables, and summarizing capabilities based on data conditions. These go beyond the skills they would develop by learning proprietary systems and programming languages like caseware's CaseView.